So the Xbox showcase was last night, and all I really have to say is clearly it's a very slow year for Xbox, but that's not what I want to focus on in today's video. What I do want to discuss is why Xbox have decided to sort of just kill off one of their games before it's even released. The Outer Worlds has been confirmed now to be $80, the first Microsoft game to cost $80, and I'm not even surprised anymore. We've spoken about this before. You all know my stance. The video game industry is slowly killing itself, and I just don't fucking care anymore, but nonetheless, I still want to talk about it. The Outer Worlds has a pretty bad reception, right? I think that we can all agree on that. Like, not necessarily bad, but genuinely, I don't know a single person that loved the first game. Everyone I know that even bothered to play it was pretty much just all sort of agreed that, yeah, it's kind of mediocre and was a massive disappointment, especially after Fallout New Vegas. And then you get to this showcase where everything they showed last night just sort of looked like the same mediocre game with a shiny new polish, at least to me. They spent upwards of 10 minutes yapping about how they have lots of choices and character backgrounds, and you can go into third person now, yay, and choose to fight, stealth, or talk your way out of situations. And I was just sitting there thinking, okay, so the bare necessities for an RPG, why are you patting yourselves on the back for giving us basic features? But you know what, today's video was going to be about how I was curious to check out The Outer Worlds 2 because genuinely it does look better than the first game. And then I woke up this morning ready to make that video and saw that they were charging $80 American for it, which is 120 Australian dollars, and weirdly they're still only charging £70 here in England, but nonetheless, I'm still pissed. My biggest question is just, why? Not a single person watching that showcase last night was watching it thinking, oh my god, this is the type of game I would happily spend $80 on, and it just feels fucking weird that this is the game Microsoft would first try this with. I mean, don't get me wrong, no game should be $80 because no game is worth $80. It is a fucking rip-off and a spit in the face to gamers worldwide, especially in this economy, but I genuinely just don't understand why they would first try it with this franchise, and frankly a game studio that are already considered pretty mediocre nowadays. Like, absolutely nobody was praising Avowed. In fact, I think I mostly just saw disappointment with it when it came out. The game is barely a few months old and nobody is even talking about it anymore. It was forgotten like a fart in the wind. My thoughts on Avowed were pretty much, it's a fun, mediocre experience, as in the combat's really fun, but literally every other feature was really bare bones and boring at best. And I just don't see why you would charge $80 for this instead of, say, Call of Duty, because people always buy Call of Duty, although God knows why, it's the same game every single year with a new coat of paint. But if you were going to start charging $80, this is not the game that you do it with. And because of this, The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be dead before it even arrives. I was looking at a couple of threads last night, like, you know, just laying in bed on my phone after the showcase, and of course checking our Discord, and quite a few people were surprisingly saying that they can't wait to dive into Outer Worlds 2. And then I checked all of my feeds on my phone this morning after the $80 price announcement, and everyone, even some of the same people, were now saying things like, this isn't worth $80, I'll wait for a major sale, I've lost all interest, so on and so forth. All this has done is hurt their game. And I get it, they're trying to push Game Pass, and as someone who recently cancelled their Game Pass just a couple of months ago, this is not bringing me back. I'm not paying £15 to play 20 hours of The Outer Worlds 2 just to confirm that it's probably just as mediocre as the first game. And that's not even to buy it, that's renting, like I'm not doing that. If The Outer Worlds 2 was £15 to buy, then yeah, I'd probably just do it because, you know, why not? But nah, I'm not getting Game Pass again just to play this game that already had red flags in its showcase. And by red flags, I mean what I was briefly talking about earlier. They spent most of their showcase talking about basic features. There was nothing revolutionary here, nothing we haven't already seen 100 times before in 100 different games. Oh, you finally added third person, that thing that should have been in the first game. Okay, great, you gave us a basic feature, well done. Well done, pat on the back. Oh, you have more character customization. Well, yeah, this is a sequel, didn't we all expect that? Oh, I can talk, fight, or stealth my way through missions just like every other modern RPG. Why are we even talking about this? The price hike is going to majorly hurt this game. Nobody was amazed and blown away and taken back by this showcase. No one, at least that I know, is willing to spend $80 on this. Even someone like me that loves Obsidian and genuinely didn't even hate the first game, I just thought it was bare bones, I'm not sold, and I'm not spending $80 fucking on it. Look, the unfortunate reality is that games like Call of Duty, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto could sell for 80 because people are fucking stupid and will support it. But these Outer Worlds tier games, this is only going to be hurt by this. Think about it, when Outer Worlds 2 goes on a 50% sale, that is still $40. And honestly, look, I love Obsidian, but that's the price of an Obsidian game. Like, $40 should be the maximum for an Obsidian game, right? They haven't released a really good RPG since New Vegas. Outer Worlds 1 was mediocre. Avowed was somehow even worse, and I don't see any indication here that Outer Worlds 2 will be any better. And it's difficult for me to get excited for any games that Microsoft just announced, because all I'm thinking is, well, what if they're $80 too? Clockwork Revolution looks fantastic, and it's a game that I've been hyped for many years now, a game I wanted to fully cover on the channel, but now I'm just wondering, well, what's the price going to be? High on Life 2, a sequel to a game, again, I very much enjoyed, also looks great, but again, what if it's $80? If you're a regular watcher of my content, then you know Fallout is my all-time favorite video game franchise. I live and breathe Fallout. But guess what? I am not paying anything above $70 for Fallout 5. I will just wait for a sale. Being a content creator or not, I don't care. So imagine how much I'm willing to spend on games that aren't my favorite franchise. I was at the point of thinking that most games weren't worth $70. I just recently played Doom: The Dark Ages. Doom is another one of my favourite franchises. I've loved Doom since I was a little kid. There is only one Doom game that I outright dislike, and I loved almost every second of Dark Ages. But I did think at least a few times this was not worth $70. Before I was a content creator, I would only pay full price for games that I knew I would spend over 100 hours in, right? Like Red Dead 2, or any Fallout, or any Elder Scrolls, etc. Because yes, to me, price depends on how long I'm going to put into the game, right? Like, I'm not going to spend $70 on a 5-hour experience. With Outer Worlds, I 100%ed the entire game in like 20 hours, no joke. And I went back to it once, and I didn't even bother finishing my second playthrough. So honestly, if Outer Worlds was $70, I would still need convincing before I purchased it, but now they're saying it's $80, and I just want to laugh in their face. And look, I shat on Avowed before it came out, you all know that. I was not impressed by the trailers. I absolutely shitted on Avowed because I didn't think it looked good, and Obsidian was still kind enough to give me a review key for the game. Unfortunately, I still did not like the game very much, however, I think it is very charming of them. I think that it takes a lot of balls to be that confident to give review keys to people who weren't impressed by any of the trailers you've released. So look, Obsidian, if you want to be kind again and give me a review copy of Outer Worlds 2, maybe I'll completely change my tune. Maybe I'll even think it's worth $80. I highly doubt it, but you never know. I'm still happy to review your game and give my honest opinion. However, I very much doubt I'm ever going to change my opinion on the fact that no game is worth $80. And here's the issue as a content creator. If I refuse to buy $80 games, but I play the games when they're on sale, by that point, the game has been out for months, and I'm not going to bother reviewing it, because the video won't do well, and there are other things I can make a video about, right? So by charging $80, you are already killing word of mouth, which is the main thing that helps sell games. You are killing the amount of reviews you're going to get, you're killing the amount of people online that are going to be talking about your game, so on and so forth. Look at how well Baldur's Gate 3 did, right? That wasn't because it was just good and it impressed people and therefore it sold well. No, Baldur's Gate was not a huge franchise at all. The thing that helped it sell so well is that everyone was talking about it. Everyone was praising it in comments, in discussion threads, on Reddit, on reviews. By charging $80, you were automatically slashing that down by at least 40%. And as I've said, I have not seen a single person after this $80 confirmation say that they're still buying this game, and it worries me. It makes me worry for the future of Obsidian, a company that I love, and it makes me worry for the future of other studios that seem to be like trapped under Microsoft, like Bethesda. And by trapped, what I mean is this was not Obsidian's decision, right? It was not Obsidian's decision to charge $80 for this game, it was Microsoft's. And if it was down to all of the devs at Obsidian, they probably would have charged less. I just feel like every game is going to start doing this, and it's going to kill gaming, or at least slow it down very much. And then in 10 years, when we're wondering why they're charging us $500 for a game, this is why. This is where it started. If you support this shit, it's only going to get worse. But anyway, I don't even want to think about this anymore, so we're going to wrap the video up. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, of course. Please do leave the video with a like if you would be so kind, and consider subscribing if you do want to stay up to date on mostly RPG news. I cover it all here. As always, a huge, massive thank you to every single one of our channel members for their continued support. It truly means the world, guys, so thank you so much for sticking with me month after month. But with all of that said and done, I hope to see you all next time. Peace.